Welcome to Fasting Space. So nice to have you here. Diving in today on healing things at the heart. I'd say most people, you search fasting, you look at fasting and weight loss online somewhere, and even on our channel here, Fasting Space, on the Simple Fasting channel, you're going to find stuff really scientifically focused, and this is fine, diving in, autophagy, insulin levels, insulin resistance. I love all this stuff. Very medical, dialing in on calories and fasting patterns. And all this stuff is great. I've done plenty of that. Gonna do plenty more of it. But if that's all it is, okay? If that's all that is happening, we're missing at least half of the picture of moving toward wellness. Big thing I want to communicate to everybody, we are mind and body and spirit, and if we are stuck in our mind, if we turn everything into an intellectual process, very hard to really unlock the true success that we're looking for. Totally neglect our nervous system, right? We're seeing how mind feeds into body through these communications. And if we aren't living in alignment in all of these levels, these processes lead us into cycles of chronic stress, cause inflammation in the body, and manifest as disease and dishealth. So we want to unwind that. We want to dig down deep into the identity layer, bring healing to the emotional body that is driving the nervous system to begin with. I put a poll up on the community section last night. Say, what is harder to manage? The physical sensations of hunger in the body if you're trying to practice fasting, or the emotions that are driving the desire to eat in the first place? Most people choosing the latter. And this is where I say this is where it's at if we want to really dive deep. Any questions that anyone has about fasting patterns, of course, we want to answer it, and we'll do more scientific talks. Okay, but now let's dive in here. Let me know how you're feeling about it. How would you answer the poll? I'll give you the big takeaway right up front. Okay, healing the heart of your hunger, healing any sort of emotional situation. What is the answer to that? The big takeaway. Developing a powerful mindset of love for yourself, for your total being, for mind, body, spirit. That is the sort of mindset. That is what has the power. Love has the power to drive out the darkness. So if you're feeling darkness, heaviness, okay, it's very, now we're kind of out of the realm of science, Not a lot of scientific papers talking about the power of love to heal an emotional wound that is driving difficulty that we're having in our life. But can't you just feel it, even when we say it? That, yeah, that's the type of thing maybe I really need. Maybe it's even difficult to hear. Sometimes you say that, it's like, oh, I don't even want to listen to it, because then it makes us realize, that there is something that is hurting there. Like I know I've been in this place. I wish that I have love for myself, but I don't quite to the level that I want. And then to hear it, but it's something I want. I got to tell you, if you want something like that, you're already on a path toward healing, because that is like the spirit coming to life. That is saying, no, I know that there is work that I need to do. And this is what we're going to talk about. How do we do the work of bringing more love into our life, Very abstract, especially to the Western mind, especially for somebody who went through, for me, who went through medical school. I went through an entire medical education. So you're going to learn to be a healer, okay? How about learning to be a healer without ever learning to love people or yourself, I think this is where a lot of my discouragement came from in medicine. I think this is a lot of the discouragement in the medical system. We're not creating environments that help ideas like this to flourish. A mindset of love, a powerful mindset of love, definitely more effective as a long-term tool than a snack or some food, right, that we use as a surrogate to get that sort of feeling temporarily, right? So if you're stuck in a cycle with something like that, right, how do you break out of that? It takes deep work to do that. We're going to really try to give you my best thinking on that today. Think about a time if you're on a health journey, if you're trying to lose weight, maybe you have been on that for only a short time, or maybe you are many decades into it and you are just continuing on the process. Can you remember a time we call white-knuckling it, right? Where it's just like we're just fighting through something. Have you ever had that? You say whether it's a diet, whether it's an exercise, whether it's fasting, right? You just say, I'm trying to do some sort of health practice, but it's definitely not a flow state. You know what I mean? So that's what we say white-knuckling. It's like we're forcing our way through something. You say our intention, we say maybe our intention is good, but then the process is a struggle. I say that sort of process stops now. That's what I would say. White-knuckling a process and forcing anything is not anything that I want people to do. I think I think it's coming out of the fitness world, especially. There's this idea of punishing the body. I am all for exercise. I'm a big exerciser. I exercised a lot yesterday. Feels so good, right? Exercise to me, giving us a model though for the fasting practice, giving us a model for all of health, which is that it should be a joyful expression. Yesterday was an incredible spring day in Madison. I got out on my bike. I rode around the lake. It was a joyful expression. I worked hard, but it was not punishing the body, I will say. And as we move into our space here, as we are looking to find love and how do we foster love for ourselves to care for things, I want every trace of the idea of punishing the body going to be gone. What I want to replace it with is nurturing the body toward greater health. Fasting space as loving, nurturing space. That is the only way I want people to do it. And this is the mindset shift that is going to take us from a place of struggle and white-knuckling through things to a practice of openness and flow. And this is what I really want for people. We were talking in the fall about the drill sergeant. Drill sergeant is like that taskmaster in the mind that is the most brutal to ourselves, that is shaming ourselves, bringing condemnation and negative thinking into our life. They're saying, you have to do more. You're not good enough unless you do this. It's like, do you ever have this? Or am I the only one that negative thoughts are coming in? And where are they coming from? And I say today we're going to tell the drill sergeant, you're fired, right? It's like those sort of negative cycles are going to break out of that. So we have wounds in the heart. Do you believe that? Do you feel that way? Whether it's a metaphor or it's actually real in some fashion. Drill sergeant, not the type of thinking that is going to help you to heal something like that, to help find a way of being in the world that is moving toward love and light and grace and compassion and kindness. These are the sorts of things that are really going to help us. Take a deep breath. Take the pressure off of the entire situation. Weight loss, health, all these things. If you've been in a situation like that, say drill sergeant been coming after you, I say, hey, we're creating a safe space here from something like that, okay? Not going to try to willpower our way through something. I say love our way through something. Does that thought resonate with you? Do you like that? Does that sound like something you'd be interested in. Does anybody need to hear that today? I need to hear it, that we can lovingly move our way toward our goal. Listen to this. All right, here is a quote I was reading. This is from Dr. Gabor Maté, who wrote a beautiful book I've talked about before, The Myth of Normal. This is from a different book. Oops, I gotta get In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. This is about addiction. He's not specifically talking in this book about food addiction, but I'm saying let's take this for our purposes, okay? Not all addictions, he says, are rooted in abuse or trauma, but I do believe they can be traced back to painful experience. A hurt is at the center of all addictive behaviors. And if you feel that way with food, food, I say, almost is the trickiest one, because it's like, smoking, you don't really have to do it, right? Any hard drug, you don't really have to do it, but we have to eat, And so it's like, whereas other places, it's like we can totally abstain from something. Food and a food addiction, a cycle set in something, is tricky because we still have to eat. It's like, what are we eating? How are we doing it? Is so deeply tied into our emotional state. Hurt is at the center of all addictive behaviors. It's present in the gambler, the internet addict, the compulsive shopper, and the workaholic. The wound may not be as deep, he says, but I say it might be, okay? Also, not as excruciating. It may not even be, it may even be entirely hidden, but it is there. Absolutely, I think that's how it is. Many times, the wounds can be hidden. We've buried them so deep that we don't even realize, on a day-to-day level that they're there. But then they still are there, right in here. That it's influencing our choices, making things more difficult, because we serve the wound and not our path forward. He says the effects of early stress or adverse experiences directly shape both the psychology and the neurobiology of addiction in the brain. It is impossible to understand addiction without asking what relief the addict finds or hopes to find in the drug or the behavior. That is Dr. Maté. We were getting into a lot of that space, reading The Mountain Is You, about when we were getting into self-sabotaging behavior. Do you ever feel that way? Or is in a cycle, some sort of eating, some sort of something? It's like this cycle formed because there was benefit to it. We felt better. We've talked about food being the acceptable drug of our society. And to go into this space and realize, okay, there's good and bad here. There was a time where we were hurting in some way, and then this was a tool that helped us move through that space. And then in that way we can stop being angry about it. When we start bringing anger down, start to have grace and compassion, we see we're starting to unwind it. We're starting to approach it in a way that's more thoughtful. And when we stop fighting with it, we stop pouring our energy into it. This is how we start to disengage from it. And to realize, how do we approach that situation from a new perspective, a new point of view? Been reading this book, The Fellowship of the River. And they have a perspective in here I want to share with you. Dr. Tafur, if I'm saying that right, suggests that an addiction of any kind is a search for love, which is really a way to think about it, isn't it? Or it's a response of some kind to a lack of love in our life. Suggests that it could be a lack of love during our childhood or during emotional development can lead to a long-term instability, which may drive someone to seek these feelings through other means, like some sort of substance or food, for example. Does that resonate? Have you felt an experience like that? Like a long-term, like a deep longing? Is that something that drives it? And how can we get to that place to satisfy it, to give ourselves what we really need? They see here, traditional medicine defines an addiction as compulsive use despite negative consequences. Have you been in a place like that with food? Where it's like you feel trapped in a cycle where it's like it's not really helping you. There's negative consequences. You say, this is not helping the body. It's not helping blood sugar. It's not helping weight or my joints or anything. Maybe you feel better in the short term, but not later. So like this is definitely getting into that place. They say then that the medical system will define this as a brain disease. And they're saying, but isn't it really an emotional situation or even a spiritual process? You know, if we're getting into love and finding love for ourselves, it's like if we don't have that, you know, this is like the cold sort of reality of medicine, you know, today. Like we just take things, someone has been emotionally wounded and hurt, and then we just, you know, label them as having a brain disease when what they really need is love. You know, like, oh man. I resonated with that. That's the same sort of mindset that I was bringing to obesity in general. You know, it's like a word that maybe doesn't even really need to exist as far as I can see. I did the talk in the fall. Is obesity really a disease? You know, the physiology of the body of storing energy when we encounter excess energy, that's normal physiology of the body. It's what it's designed to do. And we've created an environment here. Our entire society is a consumption culture, and it makes it extremely difficult to make choices that help the body remain in a healthy balance. A big process of what we're trying to do in this space, help to reconceptualize what we think of as normal, so that we can flow through situations that aren't such a struggle for ourselves, and we can get away from this labeling of everything as a disease and just telling people that they are damaged and start giving people what they really need. And you know what I think people honestly really need a lot, you tell me if you would agree, a place without shame and guilt and condemnation, a place where people are loved and supported and encountering love and light and encouragement and joy. These are the things that help us move toward health and healing, at least in this type of context. Pat is here. Good morning. Where did my chat go? There it is. So good to see you. I hope you are well. Like the new time, cool. I'm giving it a whirl, you know. I am giving it a whirl. Try to find a way, you know, before people getting off to their day and doing all these things, find a space to connect. It was a big shift. Gotta get up, okay. But I was thinking for all my friends out on the East Coast, you get an extra hour. For me, is 6:30, but 7:30 feeling better. I was like, I can get up. Can do it. Food addiction is the core. I was taught as a child that this was normal. Yeah, I think, you know, we can just be raised in a way, it just normalizes these things. That's why I love that book. I got it next on my stack there, The Myth of Normal. We develop all these ways of thinking, all these things that are they just become embedded in us. They become us. They just become part of the way that we see the world. And it's a big ask to untangle something like that. I think that's where so much frustration comes in the weight loss space, because we're told that this is an easy process and that it's just scientific, it's just physiology in the body. And then people get bludgeoned with don't you know you just need to eat 1,500 calories instead of 19, and is going to be done by a couple months from now. And some very kind and well-meaning person tells you that and gives you the meal plan. And then when you can't manifest it, or you even do it and it doesn't work, it creates so many negative cycles. It creates tension between medical providers who are trying to give their best advice, but it's not working, and people are frustrated. It creates feelings of inadequacy, and people who are doing it say, why don't these things work? Okay. And so the real core of it, like you say, is to get into this level. And even beyond just a label, I had trouble writing on the slide, even food addiction. I mean, that's it's a powerful word, and there's a lot of, negativity built into it. And so I went back and forth about whether I should even put it on there. But, it is the way to think about it. It's not wrong. Society has adjusted negatively. Yes, now that we know better, we can adjust to a more healthy lifestyle. Yeah, this is such a thoughtful way. Thank you for sharing that, to bring compassion into this whole situation. I've been trying to think along these lines, and to think about, in the human experience, just to realize actually how different, this moment has been, and the experience just of the last couple generations. You think of being a human being on this planet for eons and just millennia of, people, flowing through cycle and cycle. And we didn't have synthetic food and genetically modified things and industrial agriculture and mass industrial society and grocery stores, for goodness sake, and marketing and all of a sudden, and then we got 20 different disciplines of behavioral science that are mapping out every little thing, trying to figure out how to manipulate people and sell them things. And it's just whoa. And now it's I'm just sitting here, and you say all this stuff is coming, and then everybody's trying to go out by their lives and make enough money to provide for their kids. And it's you go to the store and they're this is food, and you get it, and you just try to see, especially with no context, you can have some compassion for people who say we develop some unhealthy patterns. Who even knew, But now we can sit here and we're now we have some decades of perspective on some of this stuff. The PFAS not working out so well, okay? It's we're being poisoned here. Microplastics everywhere, So here we're getting into a space, physical healing in the body, keeping toxins out. It's real, okay? So that's a part of it. And then we see the emotional space, who say that is also just as real, probably even more important. So in the face of all these things, we're bringing love and compassion into it and saying, okay, we need to operate in multi-dimensions here. We need to make healthy choices. And if there are, difficult foods that are a lot of sugary stuff is leading to cycles where I feel every time I have it, I have to keep eating it. Okay, there's a physical space. But then we're heading into the emotional space here today of saying, but what about the emotional side? Because so many times we are turning to things like that, and we say maybe they didn't even exist in the past, but here they are now. It's how do we deal with it? Okay. And so here I've got 3 tools that I wrote out that I want to give you. And I don't know which is my favorite, but this one I call the Heart and Reset. And I was doing this last night as I was writing it out, and it felt good. See if you like it. Let me know what you think. Okay. When we are experiencing some sort of food craving, we are seeing the cycle that we have been in. Or maybe we are in the emotional space that we know is going to lead to it. We are feeling some sort of difficult emotion, or we are becoming aware of a memory that was difficult or traumatic in some fashion. And we are remembering this talk, right? This session is saying, okay, healing the heart. How do we get into it? How do we bring love and light into this whole experience, into the body, into the being, so that we can come to peace with the situation and flow in a better direction? Okay, here's a way to really make it tangible, bring it into the body. Take one hand and just put it on the heart. And I say just kind of press it in there. And this is where you start with it. It's like, do you realize, even like I did this last night and I was just thinking about it. Like, do you realize you got a human heart in there? And when you just get your hand in there, and you can even feel it beating a little bit through the chest even, and you're just like, how often does it make you think and realize how neglectful we are of the heart? Heart is so interesting. It's like the core of our being. Is sending the blood. If we reduce it to a physical thing, it's just like we're sending the blood through the body, right? But then we talk about the heart being the core of our emotional center. And so just putting your hand there, does it feel comforting? Okay, are you bringing some awareness into the body? Bring awareness to the heart. So many times we're stuck in our mind, and when you just to put your hand down here, just try to bring some awareness to the heart. What is the heart saying, Like, do you feel it? Sometimes we feel it right in there. If you got an emotion that is dark and difficult, do you feel it in here? Can feel like an emptiness in the chest, can feel like, hard to even breathe sometimes, okay? So this is step one. We're connecting in, and now hand two. Put that right into the abdomen, right over the stomach, right? We're in a place here, okay? We're getting real physical with the body here. We got our hand deeply in the heart. We got our hand actually in our stomach. Have you ever been done this? Have you been hungry, or have you been emotional, where you're actually, see, this is starting to feel, I'm looking at myself in the camera, this is starting to look like giving yourself a big hug, right? But look what we're doing. We're building a bridge here between the heart and our stomach, between our abdomen, right? This very powerful physical process. I feel like I'm almost tearing up just like doing it, because I'm thinking, like, when we are getting into a deep emotional space, aren't these the two places you feel it the most, right? Like, have you ever felt it where you've just felt sick in your gut, right? Where and we describe it that way, like you have some difficult emotions, it feels like getting punched in the gut, right? And it's like, have you ever like you can almost can't breathe when it's like the worst emotion, okay? Don't you want to do this? Connect the heart in there. The heart wants to help. Heart bring love and light that it has, in our being into it. And so to just connect these two like this in such a powerful way. Okay, that's step two. And step three of the process is just to start to breathe. Like the breath is what powers. I picture this almost like a machine. This is like our physical machine is bridging heart and gut and bringing love to it. Now we start driving the machine with the breath, okay? Just breathe in love and light into both of these places. And then breathe out any darkness, any difficulty that's in those places. Just breathe it out. And then take a minute in this sort of space and just breathe. Run that system, connecting it. Some thought's going to come into that space, okay? I mean, thought's going to come in. Powerful. What is the difficulty? Why did you start doing it? What is the struggle? Heart's going to tell you, okay? Heart's going to tell you. And what are the needs, right, of the body? Stomach is kind of telling you, like, where have we been hurt? What is the difficulty? Where are we struggling right now? And this whole process, getting us out of our heads, and into the body and into the heart, where we never give it the attention that it needs, right? And part of it is like the attention that it needs is like actually to help it. But like the more that I've sat with this over the last day, heart is there to help, you know? And as like when we are stuck in our mind and we are cycling around and we're not paying attention to the heart is like, I want to help you. Like, it was like, this is the real emotional core. We think the emotional core is here, but mind is definitely not the emotional core of the body, but we think it is. And this is how we get stuck in these cycles of, have you been this? Like never ending thoughts. And we think the same thing again and again. And that leads us to the cycles of the behavior that we don't want. And it's like, how do I get out? And it's like, we haven't realized this is an emotional situation and we are looking in the wrong place to find the answer for it. Okay, so this practice, I'm going to stick with that. I just started doing that last night. I learned that from this book, The Fellowship of the River. And I'm going to make that a part of my personal practice, I know. Maybe I should have done that one last. That was a big one. Okay, let's go on. Yeah, I like that. I will do some more thinking about it and do some thinking over the day. This was as deep as I got last night. What does a deeper dive look like? I especially want to know, to think about right now. Send me an email or something if you have thoughts. I chase the rabbit hole as deep as it could go. Okay, that was our heart hand reset. Here's the two other thoughts that I had after reading this book and thinking on this topic. Remember when we started this, right? We started it because we were aware, we were perceiving a situation. We're saying, oh, here is either an emotion that is difficulty, that is needing some attention, or we're encountering the physical space with food that we know, okay, this is going to start the cycle again, and we're trying to break out of this using these tools. So tool 2, I just say try to name the real need, right? So if we're in a situation, we're trying to lose weight, we're recognizing, okay, there's a lot of energy in the body. The body has taken this whole difficult situation that we're finding compassion for, like we have had now. Say nobody's fault, wasn't wrong, like Pat says. But we are trying to just accept it and understand, how do we flow out of it now? Okay, so there's a real need. We've been using food to overcome that or cope with it or soothe it in some fashion. Now we're going to try to make a new choice, right? Being loving and gracious to ourselves about it. Here's a question that you could ask. If I couldn't have food to fix this right now, how would I actually meet the need? Or how could I meet the need in a different way? Just as an exercise, like sometimes we're legitimately hungry. Sometimes we do need to eat. So there's no right or wrong to it, right? But especially if we're in a thing where we recognize, like, I don't really need to eat and I don't even want to. See, then that's the place where we're not punishing ourselves in some fashion. We're saying, no, this is actually the choice I want to make, but then it's difficult. So in that space, what if I couldn't use food right now is helping us get to the deeper level to try to see. It just doesn't mean you can't eat still. It just means to ask, to try to start bringing that awareness. Is there an emotion here that is under the surface that we're dealing with? And here's a couple that I came up with. And the first is just rest. Like, am I just tired or exhausted, right? This would be the first thing. Do you ever have that? You're feeling that way? You say eating, bringing some comfort into it. But then we're just doing the thought experiment. Do I really just need to stop? Is the question. We've talked a lot about hustle culture, right? The whole culture, we're completely doing without being. We don't give space to be. We even judge ourselves. Maybe what we really need, think of the emotional body, right? maybe just needs time to rest, maybe needs some open space to process things. It's like we don't even realize that. We're not taught that in our culture. I know I was never taught that. I have a large capacity to work, and therefore I just figure I should do it all the time. I mean, medicine really blew that into the stratosphere, because it's like, oh, you mean you can actually work for 36 hours without even sleeping? I was like, people do this? Like, they'll pay you to do it? It's like, all of a sudden, it's like, it's just working all the time. And I'm like, whoa. And then that starts to feel normal, but then it's certainly not healthy. Okay, maybe you need to rest. Give yourself permission, the gift of being able to rest. Oh, man. Here's another one. Am I actually feeling lonely or unseen? So I think this is a huge one, right? We're in this crazy moment, like the most connected moment in history, and we have what they call a loneliness epidemic, right? And so many times, it's like food can fill that space. We're feeling lonely. We can't connect. Like these sort of things. Say, is food filling that space? This is very deep. Maybe you need to grab the heart again. Even to talk about it. I feel that. So that's really a space. You see, if we want to break out of a cycle, what if loneliness is a place that is driving eating? See, now we're really doing some deep work to get underneath it. And can we start taking steps, right, to break out of that cycle? Reach out to friends and family, reach out for help, or to take the steps that would help us to connect, get offline for a while, and get into the community and places where we could meet people and build relationships. And that is a very vulnerable place, to be, but then is it what we really need? And then I put here, is it an expression? Okay, so we opened up that space. See, we're awareness, we're having gratitude for ourselves, that, like, look, in the past we weren't even aware of it. See, now we're aware of it. We're right into this critical space, trying to get to the root of these things. And we realize, okay, is this hunger that I'm experiencing, that I'm trying to soothe by eating something now, is that an expression of anger or sadness, something that is deep down? Maybe it's something that I haven't even spoken about. Maybe it's something from a long time ago. From childhood even. Wasn't there a section in here that was like that? Somewhere I read a really interesting thing in here that this was making me think of. I don't know, but it was something in here that was like, I'll find it. That'll be another dive. We'll put it in another episode when I find it. If we're realizing something like that, something deep down in there, the craving for food. See, we're an emotional body. We're a physical body. Our physical hunger can be a surrogate, a placeholder for an emotional need, right? An emotional hunger, if we think of it that way. If we are emotionally hungry, how are we satisfying that? If the body is going through a process where we can't meet our needs emotionally because we're not aware of them, we're not bringing in love and compassion and kindness, and every time that the body tries to open up these things, we are punished and we shame and experience guilt. Okay, maybe that is manifesting through a physical hunger. The body is trying to find an outlet for it in some fashion, where we try to get some help in a way without inflicting ourselves with more difficulty and burden. somewhere in this reading that I'll find, we can think more about it. It was just describing a child that was like wanting a cookie. And then they were shamed and blamed for it. And then it turned into an emotional experience and they were hurt by it. And how it's like the experience that we can have with food can take us back into a space, like even into childhood, where it's like we're like a child, we're just trying to get help with something. And then we are looking for love in a situation. And then what if we don't find it? Then we bury it. I was describing like, can you be the loving, compassionate, parent to yourself in that situation? That's what the reading was in there. Tell yourself, like, I see that you want this. I see the longing, the hurt. He's like, let's solve this in a way that doesn't take us off of our track, right? That's kind of was the idea of it. Oh yeah, that was my third note. Becoming like a compassionate parent. There, I'm mixed up in my thinking. That was our third thing. We start to see ourselves like a child, right? That is reaching out. That's the third thing. Be the compassionate parent. I see that you are hurting. I see that you are looking for something. Let's start meeting these needs in a way that moves us forward. No shame, no guilt, only helping, only bringing love and light into the situation. So those were the three things. This incredible heart and practice. Really loved that. And then this trying to get to the level, naming the need, and then bringing in this kind of thoughtful, helpful, compassionate parenting approach. Those are the three things. Oh, man. I hope those are helpful. Maybe the journal helps you do these things. I'm a big journaler. Maybe the meditation helps. These are like the two big practices that I really key in on. Maybe it's connecting in some sort of spiritual practice that is meaningful for you. Maybe it is connecting with a therapist who can help you dig deeper in these places. Powerful healing in this sort of space, bringing love and light into it. Heal the heart of the problem. Do some thinking on this today. Love to hear your reflection and thoughts on this thinking. Be very well in this day. Be very well. And I will look forward to connecting with you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.